Hi, my name is Cale Cordell, and the name of the presentation I'm going to give today is New Age Problems, New Age Solutions. How do we keep our children safe online? The internet experience, it's a great thing, it's a wonderful thing, it's a fairly new thing still. And it gives us a lot of advantages. There's a lot of things we can do with the internet. It's really opened up the classroom, it's opened up college, it's opened up our learning. But just like any new technology, fire, you can get burned. The wheel, you can get your foot run over. There's certain precautions that we need to take to ensure that ourselves and our children are safe while they're using it. So, let's get going here. Problem, cyberbullying. What is it? I know that when we think of bullying, the picture that comes to most of our minds as adults is, in my mind, it's the chunky kid out on the playground pushing the small, skinny, nerdy kid down and stepping on his glasses. Or maybe in the hallway, in between classes, somebody walking by one of the kids and shoving them into the locker. Or calling a kid poor, calling them dirty, calling them dumb. When you think about bullying, that's what generally comes to mind. But with internet, we have a new type of bullying. It's cyberbullying. It's the same thing, only in a different setting. So different types of bullying: harassing text messages over the phone, harassing emails over your computer, posting nasty pictures or messages about others online. This happens quite often, especially on Facebook. I see it. I have some of the kids I work with on Facebook, and I don't see bullying necessarily, but I see the opportunity for bullying if they wanted to take it. Spreading rumors. This has been going on forever and ever and ever. And I'm from a small town, so I know all about spreading rumors and how rumors get spread. The internet is a source that it can spread more rumors quicker and more efficiently, if you want to talk about spreading rumors being efficient. Also making fake profiles, and this ties in a lot with what we're going to talk about later when it comes to identity theft. But anyway, so that's an overview of what cyberbullying is. We're going to move on here. There's two types of cyberbullying, and I thought that these were pertinent enough that I should include them in my presentation. And one is synchronic, and that's the real-time variety, the type that can immediately affect someone else, like a text message. You send somebody a text message, they get it on their phone. If it's something that has to do with demeaning them or putting them down, that's a type of cyberbullying that's synchronic. It hits them right away. Synchronic in real life would be like if somebody came up on the playground and they called you a loser. Boom, it's not, you didn't hear from somebody else, it wasn't later on down the road you found out about it, it's right in your face, right now. That's synchronic. Asynchronic is the delayed variety: emails, YouTube, social networking sites. Some examples of this might be if somebody sends you an email, or somebody posts something on Facebook, or they post a YouTube video, and maybe in that video they're talking down to you, or they're making fun of somebody. It may not affect you right then, you may not know about it right then, but eventually you will see it, or eventually you will hear about it. So that delayed type of bullying is asynchronic. And I think that that's very important when we're talking about different types of cyberbullying. Now, the solution, if you want to call it that, and you can call it a solution, and you can call it a way to prevent cyberbullying from happening. What can we do as parents, educators, fellow students? And as parents and educators, what we can do is establish guidelines on internet use. I know that there's a lot of parents that you can download software that doesn't allow your kid to get into certain types of things. At the school, I know that when they try to search, when they even try to go to YouTube, they're not allowed to do it. You have to do it with special permission and get special instruction from the technology expert at your school just to be able to do something. And to them, you have to prove that it has to do with a class or with a certain topic. So that's one thing. We can prevent them from going to certain places, and then we can also establish guidelines on what they do if we do allow them, at home, on Facebook, on YouTube. What can they watch? What can they post? If you talk to your kids about this, it makes them think about it, and it's something that might prevent it from happening in the future. The next thing, learn abbreviation used by kids when texting. If you look at that handout, I listed about 12 or so, 10 or 12 abbreviations, and some of those are very graphic, but those are abbreviations used by kids every day, or acronyms. And I've seen a lot of them on high school kids' phones. I've seen, where it's just 3 letters and you don't know what they mean, you have no idea, but you see it, and a lot of time you don't give it a second thought. But if you look at that list, and if you go to that website, it's probably going to make you think, because some of those are pretty horrible messages. Like one, for example, is MOS, I believe is what it was, and it's mother over shoulder. That means that you're telling that other person on the other end, or on that other phone, you're telling your friend that, hey, my mom's in the room, she keeps looking at these messages, so don't say anything bad. It's a way for them to hide what could be bullying messages or rumors, things like that. Always have the computer in position that screen can be seen. I think this is a good one. This is a good prevention tool to nip the problem in the bud before it even begins. If that kid knows that screen can be seen at all times, it's gonna deter them from going to certain sites, deter them from saying certain things. So I really like that method because it doesn't allow them to even start the action. Of course, they can find other places to do it, but then you'll have to deal with that when it comes along. The last thing on here is no passwords to child's online accounts. I know that we all like to respect privacy, and especially in this day and age, we feel that everybody has a certain right to privacy, and I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. I know as a kid I wanted certain privacy from my parents. I didn't want them sticking their nose into every aspect of my life, but if you know your child's accounts, you can let them know that you know this, and they might think twice about doing some of the actions before they actually do them. But also, if something comes up and a parent or an educator comes to you and says, hey, we've heard that this might be going on, if you have a reason to go on there and look and find out what's going on, or find out if something's true, then you have the ability to, because you know their passwords. So yes, I do think that we should allow everybody a certain amount of privacy, but having that information, is a good thing. Okay, our next problem, child identity theft. And I talked about this earlier, and we linked this to when people make fake profiles. But what is child identity theft? And identity theft in general is when information is stolen from one person for the gain of another. It can occur through emails, instant messaging, social networking sites, and other online transactions. So every time that you put any type of personal information out there on the web, whether it be a picture, your address, your phone number, security, social security number, or credit card number, anything like that, if the wrong person finds it, they can use it for themselves, for a gain for themselves, and that's what identity theft is. I listed a couple facts here. It can be used to finance homes and open credit card accounts. If somebody doesn't have good credit, a young child, pristine credit, that's the perfect identity to steal if they'd like to open up a credit card, and then they can spend a whole lot of money on it. I believe I read that the largest child identity theft to date was somehow somebody stole $750,000, or they got that amount of money by using a child's identity. I don't think that child had $750,000, but the person wouldn't have been able to acquire that money had they not had the information from that child. So 500,000 kids get their identity stolen every single year. That's a number that's obviously already high, but that's also a number that's still growing. As you can see, next, fastest growing sector of identity theft industry. So when it comes to identity theft, and when it comes to how many identities are stolen. Most of those, well, not most of them are children, but the age group of children is the highest growing in that industry. So they're targeting kids more and more, which makes a lot of sense because when you're a kid, you don't think as much about what you put on the internet. You know, you haven't been through a lot of the experiences that an adult is. You're a little naive. You know, you don't think about, hey, I could put something out there and somebody could steal it. That process just doesn't go through your mind. And when it comes to targeting children, most children are under the age of 14. So, you know, those are the most innocent, and really those are the ones in most danger of somebody being able to take their identity. So this is a serious problem. Now, solution. Child identity theft. What can we do? And there's a few things we can do, and there's a whole lot more, but these are some of the important ones that I felt like should be listed on here. And be careful of the information placed in blogs and emails. You know, be real careful when you send somebody an email or when you put something in a blog that a lot of people are going to be reading. You have to really be careful, because any type of information, personal information that you put in there, somebody can use. Get as creative as possible with passwords. When it comes to passwords, don't have a password like your last name and the year you were born, because that's the first thing somebody's going to guess. I know my dad's passwords, I could probably guess a lot of them because I'm sure he keeps them pretty simple, and he does it so he can remember them. So when you make a password, make something with different numbers, with something that isn't associated with you or that people don't know is associated with you. Watch out when Wi-Fi is being used. If you go to a coffee shop, that Wi-Fi connection isn't secure. So when you are on Wi-Fi, you really have to be careful, because it's easier for hackers to get on there than if you were on a secure connection like at your house or at the school. Don't download anything unfamiliar. If you see an ad for this great pair of shoes or a free iPad, and all you have to do is download this screensaver, you know, don't do it. If you're not familiar with it, then just leave it alone. And lastly, make sure that security software is kept up to date. On your handout, I included some of the top security brands out there that you can download on a computer. A lot of them are for free, and a lot of them you have to pay for. But really, if you think about it, you know, paying a little bit of money for that is going to be worth it in the long run if it protects you and your kids. So, just to sum up, you know, these are just two problems, and although there's many more problems out there, these are, you know, two big ones, and we always have to be on constant vigil against people harming our kids and harming our kids online, whether it's people in their school, family members, relatives, or somebody that's living in China thousands and thousands of miles away, because they're still a danger. You know, that's online. The internet's a great technology, but one of the things about it is it does allow a larger reach, and it puts your kids farther out there, and then it puts people that are farther away from us, and it could bring them right into our homes. So think about what we've talked about here in the future, and go use that handout and look at all those websites that I gave you links to. And you can find a lot of information about a lot of different topics. And hopefully, from here on out, you have a little bit of ammo when it comes to protecting your child. And, you know, I just want to stress, be safe on there, use it wisely, and we'll talk to you later.